They chose to lie. They did not get tired, but they are absolutely powered from a thing. You have to fight for some time. A lot of people have been successful in this matter. We could not touch all of them. We talked about the 7 survival strategies we thought were the most impressive. Please like our video and subscribe our channel for support us. After breaking his leg on the way down from the summit of Siula Grande in the Peruvian Andes in 1991, Joe Simpson was being lowered the rest of the way by climbing Impossible Simon Yates, only to disappear into a crevasse. At risk of losing his own life, Yates cut the rope between them, sending Simpson to what looked like certain death. His harrowing 3-day fight for life became the international bestseller Touching the Void, which won the NCR Non-Fiction Award and became a Bafta-winning documentary by director Kevin Macdonald. Well, he deserved to make a fifth quid after hallucinating a soundtrack with Boney M. In 2003, Aaron Ralston was hiking through a canyon in Utah when a boulder became dislodged and crushed his hand, pinning it against a canyon. Unable to free his arm, he spent 5 days drinking the only water and food he had with him before being forced to drink his own urine. He then used his own body weight to bend his arm until the boulder snapped his forearm. He amputated his arm with a blunt knife in a process that took more than an hour. Ralston managed to rappel down a 16-feet cliff face to the canyon before attracting the attention of some holidaymakers who called the rescue service. John Bosworth was a young instrument maker who was asked to help the anti-Nazi resistance in Norway during World War II. During his trip on board a ship in the icy Norwegian waters, German soldiers showered his boat with bullets, killing everyone on board except him. He managed to dive into the water with only one wound and sock, minus his big toe that had been shot off. Pursued by at least 15 Nazis, he was able to swim to the Norwegian coast, where 2 girls on the beach rescued him. He had several Norwegian civilians secretly help him to reach safety in Sweden, but it took many attempts to finally make it. On one attempt, Bosworth journeyed across the snow-capped mountains while hiding from possible Nazi attack. An avalanche caused him to fall 300 feet and left him blind and severely concussed, aimlessly wandering in the snow for days, plagued with hallucinations. Needless to say, Bosworth was found and nursed back to the hold. He continued to try push for the Swedish border again and again, but was held back by Nazi soldiers. He was forced to find shelter in the ice holes where he ended up cutting off the rest of his toes to save his feet and at one point attempted suicide. Bosworth eventually made it to safety in Sweden, but not after undergoing a journey through ice hell itself. At the age of 27, Soviet doctor Leonid Rogozov was detained at the Novocherkassia base in the Antarctic. The doctor recognized his own acute appendicitis and worsening condition. Because of the absence of a separate aircraft and inclement weather, along with danger of a burst appendix, the doctor decided he would have to perform surgery on himself. With the team's meteorologist holding retractors, a driver to hold the mirror, and other scientists passing the surgical implements, he sat in a reclined position and cut out his own appendix under local anesthetic. During the operation he passed out, but was able to continue and complete the procedure in little less than 2 hours. When Sir Ernest Shackleton was on his way to cross Antarctica on foot, his ship got stuck in the ice and with no outside help they remained stranded for 22 months. For the first year, the crew lived inside the ship, but after the ice destroyed it, they moved out onto the ice. Ernest eventually made the decision to sail 800 miles in a lifeboat to South Georgia Island, where there was a small whaling operation. Perhaps the most classic and devastating example of survival is that of the Donner Party. As you might recall, the Donners were on their way to California when they were stranded in the Sierra Nevada mountain range during the winter season. Low on supplies, they ate each other to survive. In the end, a little more than half of the original party survived. Hiro Onoda, who was died at 1901, was a wartime Japanese officer who surrendered only in 1974, having hunkered down in the jungles of the Philippines for nearly 3 decades in defiant honor of the Imperial Army. His exile in northern Lubang Island, 93 miles southwest of Manila, was a rebellious response to the American invasion in February 1945. Onoda, who was a young intelligence lieutenant at the time, had taken literally his final order to stay and fight. Most of the island's Japanese troops either withdrew or surrendered, yet along with other splinter groups, Onoda went into hiding in the mountains. For the next 29 years he survived on a diet of rice, coconuts and meat, and he tormented the Filipino forces on his trail. Onoda maintained his rifle ammunition and sword in imperishable order and when finally discovered, still wearing his now tattered army uniform, stated that his mind had been on nothing but accomplishing my duty as one of the last of the Zinrunipahaye, or Japanese holdouts. He was greeted as a hero on his return to Japan, a country which he was shocked to find had changed beyond recognition.